So let's talk about this momentous moment, this second generation of reforms in India's indirect taxes. Shekhar Iyer, what does it really mean for the nation? The Prime Minister said that people will save a lot, 2.5 lakh crore rupees, if you combine it with the kind of income tax regime changes that were announced earlier in the budget. This would then entail not just savings for the people, but they will get better bang for their buck and perhaps spend more as well in the festive season, especially when it's just rolling out.
Thank you, Gautam. Indeed, the Prime Minister's today appeal is to all sections of the society to make best use of the opportunity provided by this GST 2.0. Essentially, it is putting more money on people's hand, particularly a section that has just risen, which the Prime Minister calls the new middle class. And Prime Minister pointed out that the government gave a big bonanza by way of 12 lakh income tax rebate. I mean, any person earning up to 12 lakh of rupees a year need not have to pay tax. So that plus this lowering of prices of several goods and also services is going to come as a big benefit for the entire economy, be it manufacturers, be it consumers, be it traders, be it retailers. Everybody stands to gain because this is intended to revive demand in our economy. When demand starts, automatically this leads to manufacturing. And the Prime Minister today made it very specific and categorical that this is an hour to become self-reliant because of the global situation and the crisis being thrown up now and then by global events. It's very important that we rely on ourselves. When we say we rely on ourselves, it means producing and using goods that are best made in India. And the Prime Minister also emphasized the fact that products of India or produce of India should be of zero defect, something that he has always maintained. That is why he said, one has to feel with pride when we talk of Swadeshi. This is Prime Minister's slogan for this century, I would say.
Yes, and we've already seen how a lot of auto companies have already slashed prices on their cars. They've announced revised prices. We're seeing a lot of announcement even today related to dairy. So do you feel that that is something that the government is also ensuring that these companies, particularly companies that make consumer goods, daily needs fulfilling companies, from milk to eggs to bread to whatever people consume on a daily basis, all the benefits of the reduction in the indirect tax, the GST, is passed on to consumers?
Indeed, Gautam, because the manufacturers as well as producers realize that they need to pass off these tax cuts. And it's very important because then only you will be able to enthuse the potential customers and consumers to reach out to buy the things that they have always wanted. So we have already seen in the run up to this rollout of this GST 2.0, where there are going to be only two major tax rates. One is 12% and the other is 5%. This is a very big thing that has happened because 18% and 5%. So, and the Prime Minister pointed out lot of at least 99 items which were earlier in the 12% category has moved on to the 5% category. So therefore, it is imperative that everybody, right from wholesalers, from producers to wholesalers to retail sellers, they will have to pass on the benefit to the actual consumer, because then only you will see the demand will get revived. That will give a boost to the economy and in turn will encourage manufacturing, because this has been a problem with our economy, that manufacturing has been a sluggish sector. Prime Minister particularly pointed out the role of the MSMEs, and MSMEs make most of the items that are needed by the common people. So this is a good opportunity, taking advantage of the tax giveaways, or I would say tax cuts, that will first of all impact the government revenue for initially, but over a period of time with our economy picking up, with demand picking up, consumption picking up, and consequently manufacturing picking up, this is bound to again enable the government to collect by May more of taxes. We have already seen how over a period of time the GST compliance has been increasing, and apart from this reduction in rates, the government has also made big changes in the GST process, the GST system,
Yes.
which will ensure the manufacturers are able to, get their refunds back, which is actually a kind of a capital for them to plow it back. So a lot of things are on the pipeline. This is the beginning, and Prime Minister chose to address the people directly because he wanted the message to reach every home that all the dream purchases are right now before them. This is that everything is possible now.
Yes.
So
Now, the
that's
Prime
as
Minister gave out an estimate today of 2.5 lakh crore INR. The Finance Minister a few days back had given an estimate of how about 2 lakh crore rupees will be plowed back into the economy. Because although initially the estimate is that the government will lose 48,000 crore into rupees in revenue, it will be completely made up for in terms of higher consumption.
yeah, of course, that is the basic purpose. The government is willing to forego this revenue, which would have accrued if these old rates have come. I mean, if had they continued. But the government believes it was the time that it was to review the GST mechanism, particularly the tax. The rates have been long debated, saying that there are too many, the process is complicated. So it's time for streamlining the process, and that has exactly happened. And the government has never hesitated from bringing out those changes which are necessary, because you have also seen these tax cuts will also impact the health sector, will also impact a lot of food items. So therefore, this is something that directly addresses the challenges faced by the lower middle class and the neo middle class. And we have seen how the auto majors, as well as other manufacturers, even cement manufacturers, they have also said how they are bringing effect. And in some cases, Gautam, I must say, manufacturers themselves are willing to observe some price cuts over and
Okay.
above the GST rates, so that the economy gets a boost.
Right. And what would you say about those whose appetite seems to have been whetted by this big reform and who are expecting even more? They're dreaming of even bigger reforms in the coming days.
Well, you see, the reforms is a continuing process, as the Prime Minister mentioned today. It's not a one-stop thing that you can't say that you have reached a point. It is a continuing process, and in a country, as varied as this and with numerous challenges, the GST Council has been meeting frequently, considering the various proposals. That's why it has happened. Of course, you are hearing some people saying that this should have been rolled out right from the beginning, 2017. I don't think that would have been possible, because when the entire country is switching to a new system of taxation, because as per Prime Minister mentioned today, this GST did away with numerous taxes, toll and tax, and how it affected the movement of goods, across the country. With this GST, what has happened is no more you hear of trucks being held up at borders, at the state borders, because they have to pay octroi, toll, and all that. Now you have a very seamless transportation of goods from the factory to the market, and from the market to the consumer. So this has always been possible because of this system, one nation, one tax.
Yes.
Yes, there will be more changes in the pipeline. There will be more things that bound to happen, because government goes by the experience, goes by the feedback, and in consultation with states. You see, it's very important. GST has required center and states to sit down, and even this time the states were a little hesitant to forego revenue, because they thought this would impact them, and they even were first wanting assurance about compensation.
Yes.
And finally, it was Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman who insisted that, as per the deadline set by the Prime Minister, we need to roll in this year before the festive season starts.
And that has happened. When we can expect perhaps more to come as soon as the government has perhaps got a sense of which way this particular reform is going, to what extent will it benefit the nation. Shekhar, thank you so much for joining us and talking about it this evening.
Thank you.